You can start, girls.
Okay. Both men and women should share the responsibility of taking care of the baby, given the fact that it took both of them to bring the baby to life. And there's also the point that in our constitution, kids have the right to, they have the priority right. So their rights are more important even than the ones of adults. So now I'll go to the argument.
We need the course of action first.
So in order to do that, parents should take responsibility and give the child support, since that's the responsibility of them and not of the nation or the other people around them.
Okay. You continue explaining why.
To create a baby, it is needed a sperm from a man and an ovule from a woman. Thus, it was something made by both. What gives the man the right to just demarcate himself out of the responsibility? It is just as any other decision you take. You have to take responsibility of the consequences it brings to you.
Also, taking care of a baby represents a lot of work and money, and according to the Wondershare, it's about 130,000 pesos, just from where the woman finds out she's pregnant to the birth of the child, because you have to buy clothes, and vitamins, and you have to take the mother to the doctor, and then the baby if it needs it.
There are several government programs meant to support single mothers. However, if men took the responsibility and worked to help sustain the baby, those resources could be destined to other areas which need more support, for example, education or public transportation. Plus, if the man works, he is also contributing to the strengthening the economy of his community.
Thank you. That will be your initial round, right? Yes. Thank you. Over here. Course of action.
Well, the father does not have responsibility at all of the son, resulted of a one-night stand relationship. However, mothers should not be left defenseless. The government could support existing organizations that help single moms and make conscious in the population about this social issue, and even create more campaigns for the situation. Now
Why?
arguments.
Please, the arguments, guys.
The government can help with campaigns in all the countries for single mothers with the bills of the kids. It's moral responsibility and a social issue because of the lack of education, sexual education we have these days.
Another is most of times women approach the situation and they provoke the pregnancy just because the men were passing through a difficult moment. They were drunk, heartbroken, or whatever. And they do this because they're looking for money.
Okay. You can give all the responsibility to the father because the mother is also responsible in all the aspects. And also she was the one that decided to continue with the pregnancy. She had the chance of abort it or give it in adoption.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So, can you summarize again your course of action?
That if they decide to have the child, the government would give support to existing organizations so that the mothers go there and they can get some help.
Correct. Correct.
And well,
that just needed the summary of course of action. That would be the summary, right?
yeah, make campaigns to prevent those.
Okay. Thank you. And now, please start rebutting.
According to our constitution, men do have to take charge if proven to be the father. I do think that the government may help, but nowadays in Mexico there are approximately 5.3 millions of mothers. How is it? Lonely mothers?
Single.
Single mothers, and that would be a lot of money for the government to take charge just because the men were heartbroken.
And with the government could use that money they use for campaigns for other stuff like public transportation that is much needed in this country, like a nice public transportation and security instead of just giving money to single mothers.
Because it is the word of the father, not both father and mother.
Thank you. Perfect. That will be your rebuttal here. Perfect. Over here, you're next.
Okay. First of all, no rights are above anybody's rights. So you can't say that the children's rights are above the father's right. As an adult, you have more responsibilities than as a child, but you can't say that the rights are like above the adults. The adults just have more responsibilities, so it's like okay, and it's a problem of the mother and the father, but it's also a social issue because we have a society that is not well educated, like in sexual education. Here, Querétaro is the first place in pregnancies in girls from 10 to 12 years. First place of all the states in Mexico. So it's a social issue and not just a responsibility. That's why the campaigns should be a solution rather than taking the father to jail or exhorting him to pay like all the bills.
Yeah, and also as we already said, well, most times the mother is the one that decides to continue or not with the pregnancy. So
Yeah, we need to expand on that. You said it in the first round. You say it again. Expand on it. I think it needs more clarification.
I mean, if you know it was just a night stand and you find out you're pregnant, well, supposedly you need to like think on the baby's future, and if you know that you're not in good conditions and that you know the father is not going to support you, well, when you don't have like that for sure, you can and you should make the better decision for you and well for baby's future.
No, but you said that it's the woman's decision to have the baby.
Yes.
How is that? I mean, it is connected, but I want you to explain how that is connected. Having the baby. Deciding to have the baby.
Well, it's because there's a law that if the woman wants to have the baby, the father needs to support her. But if the father wants to have the baby and the mother doesn't, she can do whatever she wants, and there is no law to protect the father's decision.
Which means that if the woman wants if the woman wants to have the baby,
The father needs to support.
The father
yes.
is kind of obligated.
Okay.
You can't like force someone to have something you don't want, especially a kid's life.
Kind of, yes. Thank you. That's it? More rebuttals over here.
We're not saying the father should pay all the bills. We're just saying he should pay a fair amount of money to help the child go to school and buy him clothes and food, and it is called legislated child support. And it's only if it's proven that he is the father. It's not like, oh, you're the father, you have to pay child support, you have to take DNA tests and a whole process and documentation.
And answer to Marco, I don't say that, the Constitution does. So
What does the Constitution say?
according to the kids' rights, once it comes with birth, that their rights come first. They have, it's called the priority right. And it says in the Constitution that the rights of the kids come first rather than the ones of the adults. So it's not something I say, but the Constitution.
Okay, the rebuttal, yeah, okay, good.
And
Going back to the money issue, instead of making these social campaigns, you could invest that money in sexual education. That way you avoid having girls pregnant.
Okay, yeah, you have something, you know, go, spit it.
Our campaigns are for sexual education.
But
Also.
you cannot like just say, well, the women that already are single moms, they have to exhort the father to give money, not all, but the part they want to. And for the rest of the society, we have social education. You need to support also the women that already went through that situation. So you can just say like just social education and not like, ignore completely the problem of the women that already are single moms. So
Okay.
that's why we're supporting both sides, the campaigns and the sexual education.
Good, that's an interesting middle point. You both agree with sex education, awesome,
yeah.
good.
So we're not excluding the ones that are already single moms. That's why we're saying social education as a general topic. Everyone should be educated about it. And that's why we shouldn't lose money, since it's a big problem. People should start to take charge of it, but it's not something the government has to do, since they're their decisions. It's not like the government gets them drunk or tells them to hang out for one night and have pregnant. So yes, since the government already helps with jurisdiction and laws that protect both the baby, the mom, and the father's rights, since there's a study that checks the economic possibilities of that, and according to his
Income.
his incomes, the amount he should share is decided. It's not something arbitrary, and the government is the one that takes charge of it.
Yeah, well, but also sometimes many of the fathers, they already have like a family to support and they have to take care of it. And if they like also need to support like this new baby, well, it might take it and their family to like a very difficult economic situation. And also, you were saying that it's not like government's like obligation, like to, and that people decide to get drunk and that. But if you like prevent them and tell people that it's the possibility, well, that that it exists the possibility that they like get through that situation. Even though you're like drunk or whatever, some part of you like know that you're like you're vulnerable, that you can get through it.
Also, when you decide to have sex, you of course know that there's the possibility of getting pregnant. The condoms have approximately, like generalizing in marks and signs and whatever, 98% of accuracy in protection for sexual
Intercourse.
What?
Intercourse, or what's the word you
No,
were
for
looking for?
sexual illnesses.
Illnesses,
And pregnancy. So if the man does not have a condom, the woman has also the responsibility for her body and herself to say, I also can carry one and I also can work one. So if the woman does get pregnant after a one night stand, she was also part of she was really responsible too of not protecting herself. So you cannot just say, well, I didn't protect myself, so you have to pay for the child, because so it's something that we need to do like equal, because the responsibility goes on both of the persons involved. And there are also many other like protections or there are other ways to not get pregnant, like the next day pill, the hormonal control that the woman can also take decisions to follow if they are going to be involved in those kind of situations. So,
Just one more thing before we run out of time. Since the beginning, this debate was actually not 100% clear to me. And now, as I see you discussing, I think we have two debates at the same time, which is not bad. Which is not bad. It's kind of real life. Real life. Lots of issues happen at the same time and need to be solved. We have the issue of supporting single moms or not. Kind of. That's one of the debates. Well, one of the issues we have is supporting single moms or not. And in general, you will be in favor. Like, yes, it's a social issue, and you will be like, no, why should the government spend money on things like that? Because they are adults. The issue you're supposed to know. That's one issue we have. Supporting single moms or not as a social issue, as a government issue. And the other debate we have is this specific debate of the one-night stand. So let me ask you a quick question. So you would be in favor of the father, making like an exception in one-night stands regarding the father's responsibilities, right?
yeah.
Like a dad has to be responsible for his kids, but in the case of a one-night stand, you argue that there's a difference there. Yes?
Yes.
And you would argue over here that regardless of one-night stand, serious relationship, it doesn't matter if they are adults and they are getting pregnant, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. So we have two levels here, right? Two levels. And which is fine, but so the course of action that we're voting for is what? Putting government's money on supporting single moms in general,
Not
right?
forcing the father to do so if it was a one night stand.
No, but there you cannot put money on not forcing. That's free. You see what I mean?
No, but if the father doesn't want to pay, then the money has to be given by the government.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. Like you will be supporting single moms. You see what I mean? Like
Yes.
regardless, because not forcing a guy is free. In this moment, I am not forcing lots of things. You see what I mean? It's free. Not forcing is free. So you are the money is going to supporting single moms because there's a social issue, and obviously sex education, kind of both. And your money will be on sex education.
Another issue.
No, but you have to be specific. Remember, course of action. Where's the money going? Sex education. Yes, because if you tell me, and 7 different things, then everything is gonna get 1 peso. You see? So it's like, where's the money going? Like the strategy. So, due to the fact that single moms, well, it's a social issue, you would say, let's support that. And you will say, due to the fact that they are adults, we shouldn't. So let me suggest something for the closing moment. Can we leave the one-night stand issue on the side? You see what I mean?
Only single moms?
Yeah, because I'm sensing that that's the real question here. Or, if we focus on the one-night stand thing, then your course of action would need to be something like...
Sex education.
Sex what?
Sex education.
Sex
No, if we focus on the one-night stand issue, your issue would be still the same, because you will basically say, regardless, let's support single moms. But then the money, you know where your money is going? If we support the one-night stand issue, I know. But you have a break. I'm not gonna use the break, but you have a little break, right? You don't have a class right away. If we focus on the one-night stand issue, then you know what your course of action is? Putting money on tracking the fathers. You see what I mean?
Ooh.
You see the difference? If we focus on that, then your course of action is tracking the fathers down.
But it's not the same amount of money a baby requires than it takes to track that.
That could be in your favor. You will say it's a lot cheaper to track down the dad and say, pay.
To pay for a baby.
Yeah.
And you will be
And for the
using money.
government to pay for the child.
Because if the government starts doing that, you have to pay for the baby till it's stops education. Because that's the moment where
Because the government would
the
be
kid has.
in some way kind of paying child support because the father could not be found. And if you find the dad, then you
Force the dad.
you force the dad to actually pay child support, and then the government just gets rid of
Uh-huh.
that.
And also
Uh-huh.
child support is not only for when it's a baby or when the woman is pregnant until that baby grows and turns into.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you will support tracking down the dad. It's a lot
Yeah.
cheaper. You put money on police officers and the legal system to track down the dad. No. There are already civil courts that are in charge of tracking down irresponsible dads, and you will be in favor of putting the money there.
But are we debating now?
No, but that's my question because we have two debates at the same time.
That is it.
Yeah.
So if you will be supporting tracking down dads so that they are responsible, that way the government spends money like once, and then that takes care of the rest of the kid's life. And in a way you would be arguing, well, that can ruin a guy's life and a family's life, as you said before. Good.
Makes sense.
So-
Something illegal.
So if that's the debate, audience, members of Congress, I have the feeling, Isa, but maybe it's just my paranoia, that behind that sexy little thing of hair, you have a headphone,
No,
and you're hiding it.
no.
Yes, I see the wire, the white wire now. Yes. It was like, because when I told you in the beginning, no headphones, your hair was not like that, and suddenly you have this little strand of hair over here. Yes, I'm so sorry. So, sorry, Nadia is tired. She went to the Beauty and the Beast premiere last night. She slept 2 hours. I hope the movie was worth it.
Estaba muy buena.
Yes. Okay. But please, I let you take a nap. Give me 5. Give me 5. Guys. So sorry for this. Just so my suggestion is this: I'm gonna give you 1 minute feedback for your conclusion. Your conclusion would be why we need to support single moms, and your conclusion would be why we need to make dads responsible for their actions too. You see what I mean? Yeah. Okay. And members of the audience, that's what we're voting. Because what do you mean, what, George?
Yo ya también ya voté.
¿Cómo voy a votar si me he acabado?
Pues porque yo estoy de acuerdo a una posición y no me van a hacer cambiar.
My
de opinión.
position was made with one
But
night
that's
stands
not the point of
are
a parliament.
Why not? It's to
You
wait
need to
till
listen to
you
everything.
need to listen.
Voté por ti, Majo, voté por
I'm going
ti.
for you, Majo.
Sí, Majo, ya deja de hablar, Majo. Yo voy a cambiar mi
Oh,
voto.
actually, the survey is right. Because the survey says dads paying child support and single moms getting support.
Yes.
So the survey was right.
Yes. I told you that.
No, let's have a
Mario
let's have
told
a
me
closing
to my
argument.
head.
Go, 1 minute for closing argument. Think back. Sorry for stealing a couple of minutes. Sorry. Only once in a semester.
We have to think long term. Like, what if the child is not only women's solution, it's also for their education, and they have the right for it until they graduate 20 years or something.
Tell me, baby. My loneliness is killing me.
So, the person that either way, it will be a total loss of money because a loss of money is something that is not your responsibility. If you bring a family, if the dad has economic issues, that's not the problem. That's the problem.
Okay, we're ready.
Perfect. So, team in favor of the dad being responsible.
Y ahora la cámara lo sabe.
It's so funny to see Gino using his cell phone as a mirror since the beginning of the debate. Though this is the first time I noticed.
He's always like.
You're a rock star, man. Okay. And please, conclusion.
Since we have to think long term in here, it has to be the dad's responsibility to support the child. Since supporting a child doesn't stop since until it is born or it gets to some years. Supporting a child goes to the moment he turns 18, and if he continues to study, the child, then the kid has to continue to be supported until he or she graduates, and that will be a total loss of money for the government to support someone since they are born to until they turn to 20 something.
Because there are thousands and thousands of kids.
That's a lot of money, and since it had to be his responsibility since he took the decision, it's not the government's responsibility if he has to end his marriage or his family or if he was drunk. That is just entirely his problem.
Perfect. This is a conclusion, so
I
have
want to
stop you.
change
Sorry,
my
sorry.
vote.
Conclusion.
Okay. First of all, the campaign is not like made for paying everything. It's like helping the mother to get a good job so she can also cover the bills of her son / daughter. And while by tracking the man, you kind of make a sexual act like illegal. So because you have a consequence, like the police going after you if you have one night stand.
Well, also, if you like caught him, you can cause like severe problems with his family. You can make his family like fall apart. And also, if you caught him, even though you got him, you can assure he would pay for the baby because maybe, well, he doesn't have like a really good job, or maybe he just doesn't like follow the law.
And even if you use protection, and it
The woman gets pregnant.
and the woman gets pregnant, you can't like blame it on the father to pay for the kid.
Thank you.